All right, I have super exciting news. We're about to do another daily oral language sentence. Daily oral language sentence number 111 is coming our way. All right, so please copy down the sentence the way you see it. Then we'll go over it, and then you will see it the correct way and write it down the correct way as well. So this says, at the trading post in Santa Fe, Dad couldn't find a Navajo rug in the right size. He bought an antique chair instead. Let's write it. Let's read it again. I'm going to ask you, what's wrong with this sentence? At the trading post in Santa Fe, Dad couldn't find the Navajo rug in the right size. He bought an antique chair instead. Okay. First and most important thing wrong with this sentence is this is a run-on sentence. This is technically two sentences that are pushed together, they're squashed together, and they need to be separated. How do we separate independent sentences, ladies and gentlemen, and stop this from being an awful run-on sentence? Of course, we would use either a period or a semicolon. Remember, periods and semicolons do the same thing. They separate independent sentences where a sentence should stop and another one begins. That's where we put either our period or our semicolon. So where does that go in this sentence? You're going to hear when I read it out loud one more time that there is a definite pause, which we'll put a comma, but there's also a full stop where we will put that semicolon or period. Listen again. At the trading post in Santa Fe, Dad couldn't find a Navajo rug in the right size. He bought an antique chair instead. Okay, so our pause goes after Santa Fe. And our full stop goes after size. Good. Now, again, if I wanted to, I could put a period there instead. And if I did that, I would have to capitalize the word he for our second sentence. And of course, I would put a period at the end of our second sentence. But let's get rid of the period and let's put a semicolon for fun because I like a semicolon. I like being a fancy writer. And we'll put the period back at the end. So let's go to the top and fix everything up. We're going to capitalize at. Now, the trading post. The trading post is actually the name of a store, right, where he would have bought something. So we're going to capitalize the name of the store, the trading post, and we are going to fix the spelling of it. Now, trade is T-R-A-D-E, but the minute you turn it into infinitive, we make it the I-N-G. So at the trading post in Santa Fe, comma, Dad couldn't find. Now, Dad, we're going to capitalize, of course, because we're using it as his name. I would not capitalize it if I said my dad or our dad couldn't find, but since I said Dad couldn't find, I capitalize it. Dad couldn't find. Now, I want to apostrophize couldn't because what two words am I putting into here? Of course, I'm doing could not, right? Or, of course, I could spell out could not as two separate words, but if I want to keep it, I do the apostrophe and couldn't. So it's Dad could not find a Navajo rug in the right size. We have two things wrong with the word Navajo. One, of course, we're going to capitalize it because A, it is a nationality, and it's also a language as well. So a Navajo rug, and of course, it's misspelled. It's not an H-O, it's a J-O. And there's something very cool about the Navajo language. I don't know if you know this, but if you look this up, they actually, in World War II, they used Navajo Indians to speak over the radios in their language, the Navajo language, because they knew that the Germans, the Nazis, would not be able to understand the Navajo language. So it acted as its own code. It was very cool. Look it up, the Navajo Code Talkers. I'll continue. At the trading post in Santa Fe, comma, Dad couldn't or could not find a Navajo rug in the right size. Take a look at right. There's something clearly wrong with that. That is right as in write something down with a pen or pencil. We want right as in correct. So that's R-I-G-H-T, of course, in the right size, semicolon. He bought a antique chair instead. You don't say he bought a antique. It's an antique, of course, because the next word starts in A. It's an apple, an egg. So we want an antique. It starts with an A, so we have to put N. Antique is spelled wrong, of course. That's A-N-T-I-Q-U-E is antique. Chair instead. Take a look at instead. That's also spelled wrong. It's I-N-S-T-E-A-D. I believe we got everything done in the sentence. Let's take a look down low and see how we did. All right, so we capitalize at, we capitalize trading post because it's the name of the store. We fixed it from E-N-G to I-N-G. Did I not capitalize Santa Fe? I didn't capitalize Santa Fe. O-M-G. Let's capitalize Santa. Let's also capitalize Fe. And did you notice Santa Fe is misspelled? I was so excited about talking about the Navajo code talkers that I completely missed capitalizing Santa Fe and misspelling and fixing the spelling. There is no Y at the end of Fe. It's just Santa Fe. Excellent. Okay, let's continue. Let's go back down again. That's a good lesson. Even an English teacher might miss something in a sentence. So it's always good to go back and check it again and again. So we have at the trading post in Santa Fe, comma, dad, we capitalize dad, of course, because we're using it as his name, not as his title. Couldn't, we put the apostrophe NT because we're saying could not find a Navajo rug. We capitalize Navajo. We fixed the spelling. It's not H-O, it's J-O in the right size. We fixed right from W-R-I-T-E, like writing a book or writing an essay, to write as in correct, R-I-G-H-T size. There's our semicolon because technically this is a whole sentence and the other part is its own sentence as well. He bought an antique. We can't say a antique, it's an antique. We fixed antique to Q-U-E, chair instead. We fixed instead by adding an A, period at the end of the sentence. Fabulously done, everybody. Nice job.